Hi, welcome to the Adapted Ambitions podcast. My name is Ada Offonry. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here since season 1, welcome back. Really happy to have you here. This podcast is about career reinvention, particularly if you're in mid-career. It is for you in any industry, but I'm going to be digging into my experience from over 20 years of insider knowledge of working with the world's top tier investment banks, hedge funds, AI companies, and tech firms in general to give you all of the insights you need to be able to transition and transform your career. So if you're a technologist, a quant, an AI engineer, then definitely listen up. Season 1 launched almost a year ago in February of 2023. And during this time, I talked a lot about career sabbaticals, negotiation, building your career in the age of AI, mid-career pivots, and how to ensure that, you're able to break free from burnout. The response was fantastic. I've heard from, doctors in London, engineers in San Francisco, who were all able to get some, nugget of value from the podcast. Some recurring questions kept coming up, and which is, well, what's next? How do I now get there? The thing that I noticed is that the questions got more specific. So it wasn't just about how do I figure out what to do next? It was about, well, how do I transition from big tech to a hedge fund? How do I transition from my current career into a new viable career in the age of AI? And how do I negotiate this offer? How do I compare an offer that's giving me a lot of equity to one that doesn't give me any equity, but gives me a high bonus? So season 2 is going to be different in the sense that I'm going to be leaning into my insider knowledge. I'm going to be leaning into my market intelligence. I'm going to be leaning into the frameworks that I've used to place hundreds of people at some of these elite firms, because you deserve more than generic career advice. So before we dive into what's coming up this season, let's talk about what's changed since season 1. Let's look at some data first of all. In the US, the median job tenure for technical professionals dropped to 2.8 years in 2024. That's compared to 4.1 years in 2019. People are moving more frequently and they're being more strategic about it. In the UK, 42% of tech workers say that they're considering a career change in the next 12 months. This is the highest number it's been since records started. What's really interesting is that the number of people over 40 starting their businesses increased by 34% between 2022 and 2025. Mid-career professionals aren't just changing jobs, they're building something of their own. So the question isn't, is the world of work changing? The question is, are you changing with it? So let's talk about what's actually changed, both in the world and also for me personally. Season 1 dropped in February of 2025. And since then, what we've seen are massive layoffs at Meta, at Amazon, at Google. Tens of thousands of jobs have been cut while companies have posted record profits. Within the investment banking world, companies like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs return to work mandates are back. They're asking their employees to come back into the office 5 days a week. Meanwhile, 46% of UK companies are still hybrid. So the rules are really all over the place. AI has gone from hype to reality. People are using AI daily now, and the ones that were able to adapt early are thriving, and people who ignored it, they're struggling. And if they're not struggling now, they will be in future. What's changed for me personally? Earlier this year, I left my role as global head of talent for a systematic trading fund to start my own firm, Inference Search and Advisory. And that transition has taught me more about career strategy and reinvention and what it takes to actually build something from scratch that over 20 years of hiring never did. A lot of what we'll cover this season comes from that experience, what's worked, what hasn't, and what I wish I'd known before I made the leap. So what does that mean for season 2? It means that we're going to be looking at 3 key changes this season. The first is I'll be leaning into my insider knowledge a lot more. I'm not holding back anymore. I know what hedge funds pay. I know what AI labs do to assess talents. And I know what gets you hired at elite firms and what doesn't. Even if you're not necessarily planning to work at a hedge fund or an AI firm, understanding how high-performing organizations think about talent is valuable for anybody if that's part of your career plan. The second thing is that we're going to go deeper on technical careers. This season, we're going to cover what hedge funds actually want right now and how to pivot between big tech and the hedge fund world, and how AI is reshaping hiring in general. What the job search actually looks like for engineers and researchers, and not necessarily just talking about generic LinkedIn tips. We're also going to be covering what affects a lot of mid-career professionals, and that's around fractional work, portfolio careers, entrepreneurship, the pause of the traditional career ladder. We're going to talk about all of these things. The third thing is that I would say that if there was one word to summarize season 1, it was motivational. A second word would be empowering. For this season, my intention is to be a bit more strategic and to give you the frameworks and the market data and the tactical guidance that you need to help you make the best career decision ever, and not just feel inspired, but actually have the tools to be able to put things into practice. So this season is for you if you're a mid-career professional considering a pivot, you're an engineer or a quant, a researcher, a technical leader, and you find yourself at an inflection point. If you're looking to make a big transition, so from one industry to another, from a hedge fund to big tech or a startup, or from corporate to consulting, from an individual contributor role to leadership role, from employee to founder, then this season is for you. It's also for you if you've been on the job market for many years and you need current, honest intelligence about what the actual state of the market is today. If you're evaluating offers, negotiating compensation, or trying to figure out your next strategic move, this is also for you. And also, if you're curious about, how to leverage AI, fractional work, the future of work generally, then this is a season for you. Even if you're not necessarily in technology, maybe you're in finance or pharma or consulting or considering a career change entirely, this season is still for you, because the frameworks that I'm going to be covering, how to evaluate opportunities, how to position yourself, how to think strategically about your career, these are all things that are universal. Let's talk a little bit about what you can expect for season 2. We're going to be talking about the new world of work. We'll talk about strategic career moves, the technical job search, working beyond your typical 9 to 5, careers in the age of AI, money, leverage, and mid-career powers. We're going to be covering all of those subjects. And I'll be talking a lot about confidence over 40 and how that is actually your competitive advantage. Before we wrap for this introductory session, there are a few things I would really like for you to do. The first is subscribe to this podcast. New episodes are going to be dropping every week, and we're going to go deep this season, so you don't want to miss it. So subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. The Adapted Ambitions podcast is available, so subscribe. That's the first thing. The second thing is do join my newsletter. I'm going to be sending weekly insight on technical careers, on market intelligence and strategies, on mid-career reinvention that you're not going to find anywhere else. So go to offonry.com to sign up. And you'll also get my free career decision scorecard, which is a framework for evaluating your next move. The third thing is definitely share this with somebody who's navigating a transition. If you know someone who's at an inflection point in their career, send them this episode. Career clarity is better when you're doing it with someone and not alone. One more thing, if you're navigating a high stakes career decision and you want strategic guidance, not just inspiration, but frameworks and actual market intelligence, I work one-on-one with technical professionals through my advisory practice, and you can learn more at offonry.com /advisory. So That's it for this episode. Next time, we're going to be talking about how the world of work has fundamentally shifted, mass layoffs, AI, return to office mandates, and why the old playbook just doesn't work anymore. And it's a reality check that you need to hear. So join me on the next episode. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Offonry, and you've been listening to the Adapted Ambitions podcast. Let's make this your best season yet.